Yo guys, what is up? Here we are with another reading video, and today we are on chapters 15 and 16 of Milkweed by Jerry Spinelli. I've got nothing to say, so let's get right into it. Chapter 15, Autumn. The people were going. I'd never seen so many people walking. We were standing on a street corner, watching. They were Jews. I knew by the armbands they wore. Every Jew had to wear a white armband with a blue star. This was big help in telling who was a Jew, as they no longer wore beards. Until that moment, I had only seen a few Jews here, a few Jews there. I had not known there were so many. They came from many places, many streets, but they were all going the same direction. Little children pulled wagons heaped high with toys and pots and books. Grown-ups pulled wobbling carts of furniture and clothes and pictures and rugs. It seemed they had emptied their entire houses into wagons and carts and the bulging sacks over their shoulders. Larger wagons were pulled by horses, smaller carts by people. The horses and the people looked alike, plodding, eyes to the ground, leaning forward against the weight of their loads. The horses did not wear armbands, yet they were too clearly Jewish. It was a blue and white parade, and how different from the grand parade of the jackboots. So slow, so quiet, hardly a baby cried. The thump of the 1,000 jackboots was now the shuffle of ragged shoes, instead of the roar of the tanks, the crickety click of cartwheels. I shaded my eyes. Where are they going? I said to Yuri. The ghetto, he said. What's the ghetto? Where the beep live. The D word lived. Though the people were quiet, there was much noise behind them. They were whistling and cheering and breaking glass. As the moving people came down out of their houses, other people rushed in. There were fistfights in the courtyards. People sailed from doorsteps. Top floor windows flew open. The new house people shouted over the heads of the walkers, "It's mine!" But I was more interested in this ghetto place, wherever it was. Be back by curfew. It was all the warning Yuri gave me anymore. I walked with the Jews. For a while I got carried away. Ever since the jackboot parade, I'd wanted to be in one, and so I marched along in a parade of my imagination, passing one plodding Jew after the other, head high, arms swinging, goose-stepping as if I wore tall, shiny boots myself. If anyone noticed, I was not aware. No one said a word. Soon enough, my imagination petered out, and I slowed down to the pace of the others. I found myself walking beside a boy who looked Yuri's age. The boy hauled a gray sack that bulged as if it held pumpkins. "Do you know Yuri?" The boy kept staring straight ahead. I repeated myself, louder. "Do you know Yuri?" The boy did not seem to know I was there. That didn't stop me. I was determined to talk. "Yuri has red hair. He's not a Jew." I was always careful to not give Yuri away. "Can I touch your armband?" He didn't respond. I touched it. "I'm a gypsy," I told him. "Maybe someday I'll get an armband too." I pulled a sausage from my pocket. I carried a sausage with me whenever I could find one. I snacked on it through the day. I held it up to him. "Would you like a bite of my sausage?" For the first time I saw his eyes move. Then the lady walking on the other side of him said, "He's not hungry. Please go." That was ungrateful, I thought, but I did as she said. I went from person to person, asking questions. "Are you going to the ghetto? Will you have a nice house in the ghetto? How much farther to the ghetto?" I never received an answer. To one and all I offered my sausage, but no one took a bite. No one saw me, or so I believed, except the foxes on the shoulders of some of the ladies. Their tiny black round eyes stared endlessly at me. Once I saw a speckled mare. "Greta!" I cried out, and ran to her. But all she did was slobber over my head. I knew it could not be Greta. I heard children singing, a familiar voice calling, "Old Man Goose! 1, 2, 3. I ran. He staggered and laughed as I crashed into him. "Dr. K, are you going to the ghetto, too?" "Yes," he said. "We're all going." "Is it wonderful?" I asked him. He smiled. "We will make it wonderful." I marched with the orphans. They were singing. I did not know the words, so I just belted out sounds. When I was with them, I wanted to be an orphan, too. Between songs came the clack and rattle of the carts and walking people. Once a voice came down from a window. "Orphan pie!" Then I saw Janina. She was trudging along with her family. The sack over her shoulder almost fell to the ground. I ran to her. Janina! She looked at me. She smiled. Misha! I burst. Are you going to the ghetto? Where did you go? There's somebody else in your house now. I don't like him. He poured beer on my head. I smashed his foot. She laughed. I said it again. I smashed his foot. She laughed louder. Janina, I said, nobody sees me, except Dr. K. A voice came. They see you. It was a man walking behind us. The piled high cart he pulled was strapped to his shoulders. He was one of the faces I had seen around the birthday table. That's my father, said Janina. They don't look at me, I said to Janina's father. The cart behind him creaked and rattled. They're afraid of you, he said. I laughed. Nobody's afraid of me. Janina glared at me. Don't laugh at my father. If he says they're afraid of you, they're afraid of you. I looked up at him. Like everyone else, he stared straight ahead. His eyes were large and chestnut brown, like Janina's. Why are they afraid of me, I said. Before he could answer, Janina piped. Because you're a Jew. You're not a Jew. Why do you think? I could not imagine such a thing. People afraid of me? I took out the sausage. Want a bite? No, came a woman's voice. But it was too late. Janina had snatched the sausage and ripped off a big bite. She handed it to her father. He looked at it for a while and finally took a bite. He held it out for the lady, but she shook her head. Another hand reached over and snatched it. The old man finished it off. That's my Uncle Shepsel, said Janina. He lives with us. I reached for Janina's sack. I want to carry it. She gave it to me and at once went skipping ahead. I slung the slack over my shoulder. It wanted to pull me backwards. What's in there? I called. Janina came skipping back. All my favorite things, except my scooter. Mama wouldn't let me bring my scooter. She glared at the lady. I pointed to her armband. Do you like it? I said. Tobias, said Janina's mother. Never mind, said her father. He's the boy. I know. The thief. Never mind. And then came a noise up ahead. The rattle of cart wheels grew louder. Come, come. Janina's father grunted and leaned into his harness until he was practically level to the street. The parade was going faster. Drop pots rang like sick trolley bells. People were shouting. People were running. Chapter 16. A closet, said Yuri. A closet, I said. I said, I footed a line in the dirt, dividing our stall in half. This big. That's what Uncle Shepsel said. We're living in a closet. I was telling him about the day. I told him how I met Janina and her family and said that everyone rushed into the ghetto and that how I knew the ghetto must be a wonderful place. I told him how we went into the courtyard, a dirt square surrounded by high, flat walls of houses, how Janina's father sent Uncle Shepsel, Hurry, hurry! And Uncle Shepsel dashed into one of the houses and up the stairs, and Janina and I followed him because I was last because of the sack. And Uncle Shepsel planted himself in a doorway on the fourth floor, and we planted ourselves too until Janina's mother and father lumbered up. And we went back down and unloaded the cart and carried the things back upstairs. I lost my part. We went and carried the things. We went back down and unloaded the cart and carried the things upstairs. And some things we needed 2 or 3 people to carry, but there was always one person left behind, planted in the doorway. And the house was a madhouse. That's what Janina's mother said, a madhouse, because so many other people were doing the same thing, and there was only one stairway, and someone was planted in every doorway. When everything was carried up, Janina's father and Uncle Shepsel broke the cart with hammers and kicks and carried the gray splintery cart pieces up too, even the wheels. When everything was finally in, and Janina's father shut the door, that was when Uncle Shepsel said it. We're living in a closet. I told Yuri what happened when I left. Janina wanted to walk down to the courtyard with me, but her mother said no. So she went with me to the landing outside the door. And then she said, wait. I went back inside. When she came out, she was grinning. Close your eyes and hold out your hand. I did as she said. I felt something in my hand. Open. It was a piece of candy. A buttercream with a hazelnut heart. Except it was only half a candy. Even half the hazelnut was gone. I didn't know what it was until I bit it, she said. Then I saved it for you. I ate it. I hadn't had one in a long time. I thought I would never taste another. She kept grinning. I ran down the stairs. When I returned to the ghetto, there was a wall in the way. Men were building it with bricks. It was 3 of me high, and I walked along until I came to a section that had not yet been completed, where the wall was only a couple bricks high. I stepped over. Someone yelled. I ran. Running wasn't easy because, again, I was carrying a large sack. This time the sack was filled with food. The harvest was in, and the pickings were good for quick hands and feet. I found the house. It was on Niska Street. I climbed the stairs to the door. I knocked. A gruff voice said, "Who's there?" "Mr. Politsky." I heard a squeal, then the rattle of locks. The door flew open. Janina threw her hands. "Misha!" Janina's mother lay on a mattress in a corner of the room. She opened one eye and grunted. "You again." "What's that?" said Janina, pointing to the sack. Uncle Sepshel slammed the door shut and locked it. "Food," I said. There was a square table in the middle of the room. I dumped out the sack. "Food!" Janina clapped. Turnips and apples rolled onto the table and off to the floor. There were bunches of carrots and celery and loaves of bread and jars of jam and molasses and bags of sugar and links of sausage. Everyone gathered around. Even Janina's mother got up from the mattress. "Where did you get it?" "Many places," I said. Uncle Sepshel snapped a carrot in half. "This smelly, nimble-footed thief." Janina's mother opened up a wide, dusty bag. She dipped in a fingertip, tasted it. "This is baking powder. You need an oven to bake. Does he see an oven in here?" She returned to the mattress. She lay facing the wall. "I remember ovens. I had one." She coughed. "Once. I was a human being once." Uncle Sepshel looked at her with sad eyes. "Once upon a time." "There's a wall outside," I said. "Why is there a wall?" "Keep out the riff-raff," said Uncle Sepshel with a sneer. "How did you get in?" Janina asked me. I told her how I found a low place in the wall and simply stepped over. I added, "I can go anywhere." I was not boasting. I was simply stating a fact. I'd come to love my small size, my speed, my slipperiness. Sometimes I thought of myself as a bug or a tiny rodent, slipping into places that the eye could not even see. There was a knock on the door. Uncle Sepshel's finger flew to his lips. "Don't speak," he whispered. "We're not here." Then he sagged as Janina's father called out, "Who's there?" "Hiram Lefkowitz, I don't know, something," came the answer. Janina's father unlocked the door. "Yes, come in." As Uncle Sepshel threw a coat over the food on the table, Hiram Lefkowitz, whatever, came in. He took off his hat and held out a piece of paper. "Dr. Milgram." Janina's father took the paper. "I'm not a doctor." He went to a waist-high box-looking thing squatting on the floor and pulled at it. It opened up like wings. It was a chest with many little drawers. On either side of the chest were shelves of jars, some with powder, some with liquids of different colors. It reminded me of the barber shop. I wondered how the bottles had survived the rickety trek across the city. Janina's father took something from a jar, put it into a little envelope, and gave it to the man. The man pulled an apple from his pocket. He looked about to cry. "I wish." "Go," said Janina's father, ushering the man out. "No need. Go." The man reached back to touch Mr. Milgram. Shalom. Uncle Sepshel shut and bolted the door. He wagged a finger in the face of Janina's father. "By tomorrow the whole place will know. We'll be overrun." Mr. Milgram pulled in the wings, and the chest of drawers became a plain-looking box again. "What would you like me to do? Save it for ourselves?" He gave me a prescription. I did my job. "There'll be nothing left in a week. They'll clean you out." "Maybe we'll be out of here in a week. If we're out of here, it'll be in our graves." He pointed out the one window. "You think they're putting up that wall only to last a week? We'll be lucky if we ever get out of here," he was shouting. Janina's mother groaned on the mattress. Janina and I were in a corner that would become our corner. "My father is a pharmacist," she told me. "What's a pharmacist?" I said. "A pharmacist makes medicine." "What's medicine?" She looked at me strangely. "Medicine makes people better when they're sick. It's like pills or castor oil." She made a face. "Ugh." Your father is Tobias Milgram? I said. She beamed. Yes. And you are Janina Milgram? Yes. I am Misha Politsky. She clapped her hands. Yes. Uncle Shepsel glared at us. Janina stuck out her tongue at him. I giggled. Not only did I have my very own last name, but now I knew someone else's. I giggled as if I were being tickled. And that is the end of chapter 15 and 16, but mostly the end of chapter 16. I hope you guys did enjoy this book. These chapters, whatever. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a big thumbs up, comment down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next video.